Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of AIME's Grow and Get It. I'm Tom Ahles, President of Growth with AIME. I got my man Atrion, Faiola with NorthPort Lending, based out of Wayzata, Minnesota. Neighbor of mine as well. We're both in our home state of Minnesota here. Atrion, thank you so much for being on this episode of Grow and Get It.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on the Grow and Get It. I love this.
Yeah, it's been something fun for me to be able to talk with brokers all over the country, kind of hear little nuggets of what they're doing to help them succeed. I know for you, I get to see your success a lot because we're in the same circle, right? I mean, you and I get a call from somebody that says, hey, who is this guy? You get calls from me, the same thing. You've been very supportive, not only of my business, but the broker channel in whole. I remember when you were initially thinking about coming over to the broker channel and you were working at a bank. You know, you're a smart guy. So you're digging in, getting information, always investing into technology, learning, a part of our community. Thankful to have you on the side of brokers, and I'm sure your clients are as well, too, as you don't have to sell them those really high rates like you used to when you're on the banking side. So, one of the things that I communicated with you when we talked, my goal on these is to really, to try to get something out that you're doing why you're successful. And although some people, it may seem like, oh, well, that seems easy enough, the execution is one of the biggest things that people lack. And I'm hoping with today, when you and I talk, I asked you a simple question, where are you getting your clients from? Like, what differentiates you? I'll say not even differentiate you from me, but differentiate you from the people that, are struggling to be able to close a loan or two. And I know this resonated with me when you said it, but it's really making sure that you're staying in front of your clients, right? Why don't you tell me, how is it that you stay in front of your consumers? How are you staying in front of the people that are in your connection?
I think, we talked a little bit about this earlier. I think people forget kind of the biggest thing, which is where did you get the loans that are in your pipeline today? And so many people forget that every loan that's in your pipeline today, you got through doing something in the past. And so, like I shared with you, one of the guys I got a loan from, I sat in the sauna with at the gym 2 years ago. Another guy I worked out at a Orange Theory with. And so I think for so many of us, we go to the office, especially in this drought, I would call it now, right? Because the market's kind of made a turn. It's deteriorating quickly. We come to work every day and we're like, man, I don't know where I'm going to get my next loan. When in reality, you just closed some of the best volume you've ever had in your career over the last 3 years. And you got to call your best customer database. Every single person knows at least 1 to 5 people that are doing something with a mortgage. And I think we all forget that. And it's one thing to call people and ask for the business. It's another thing to call them and provide value. And as a broker, I will say this, AIME, Brokers Are Better, Barry Habib, you guys provide exceptional value for us to go and educate consumers. So stay in front of them. Yeah.
So you're calling connections that you have and helping educate them. So I'm going to take it back one step because I'm mentally thinking this. I'm sitting in the sauna. How are you giving your information to these guys? Are you taking business cards with you? How are you making that connection and then following up on it?
That's a really good question. So I think one thing we forget is the first thing we go when we meet someone is we go and we just go straight for the kill. And I think you and I could both agree that if you and I go sit in a room with people, the first thing that they're going to ask us is, man, housing recession's coming, or there's some form of a crisis. And then they want to, ask us questions and hypothesize and talk about what's actually going on in housing. It's not your opportunity to make a sale there. It's your opportunity to provide value. And so, like today, for example, I spoke to a past client thinking about refinancing. You provide the value of, I'm going to let Barry be on this one, but, you marry the house and you date the rate. I explain this to the consumer and you show the value long-term of like consolidating credit card debts. I don't even talk about the fact that I'm going to do their mortgage. I just provide the value. And then naturally that customer or that consumer or friend is going to call me up and say, dude, I got to refinance. What would you do? And that's how that works. You don't need to say, hey, I'm a mortgage broker, call me. Like that's not going to get it done, but provide value and sit back and wait.
Right. They're looking at you as a trusted expert because you're not, when you're out in public, and this is where it's been kind of fun witnessing it firsthand for both of us because we are in the same neighborhood. We're not out trying to sell anything. All that we want to do is, hey, we spend a lot of time investing into ourselves, right? You've been one of the people that I really like talk to, because you'll send me podcasts that you're listening to, are things that are really all about personal development, right? Becoming a better person, becoming a better citizen, becoming a better father, becoming a better husband. All of these things that make you somebody that, when you're putting yourself into social circles like you do, make you more referable, because you're knowledgeable, you're likable, and you're honest, right? You're not out trying to, oh man, this guy, hold on. Especially when rates were in the twos, it was like you couldn't have a conversation with somebody and know that they couldn't benefit from having a refinance. The people that crushed it even during that time, it was the same situation. Our phones were ringing off the hook because we stayed in touch with our contacts. Now, I'm gonna just pull one of the things that, when you and I had a conversation that you and I share, you mentioned that on a daily basis, you try to reach out to 5 people that are in your network. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're calling a realtor and saying, hey, we've got this product, I want to see what we can do here. You're just calling people to connect with them and really check in, keep that personal connection. Am I right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I never call 5 people and say, oh, I need to get a mortgage. Really, it's like, your phone has, I mean, if you're good at keeping a Rolodex, I have like 3,000 contacts in my phone. And, one of the things, so many people miss is like, where am I going to get my business? You have 3,000 contacts in your phone. Right. So for me, I just call 5 people I haven't talked to, like I've been very busy and committed to starting my business and being a part of my family. I think, a lot of us struggle, especially being in the northern climates, with seasonality, like summer and free time versus winter and hunker down. But I just call 5 people and check in. There's 5 friends you have in your phone that you haven't talked to in 6, 12, 24, 36 months that A, would love to hear what you're up to. B, would love to talk about, if they own a home, they want to know about the market. Is my home value going to crash? What's going on? Whatever. But just checking in to say hi and say something, that's it.
It's amazing. Exactly right. There's a gentleman that was a client of mine that I called, I'm going to say it was last week. And literally, I do this the same as you. And I honestly, some of these things that it's been an honor for me to have this position with AIME and get to do these, because not only do I get to learn from others, but I get to see things that I'm doing that I didn't even realize why I'm doing it, that it works. I'm not doing it necessarily to get business, but it's been a trait naturally where I care about people. I like hearing about them. I called a past client of mine who I knew was in HVAC, and I just asked him a question. And then before we know it, we started talking for 30 minutes. Next week, he said, hey, I've been looking at this place and I want to make a move on it. I haven't talked to the guy. I wasn't even calling him about it. And I don't know, maybe these are the people that are going to call, they're going to call their bank, or maybe they'll call a past servicer if it's been past 2 years and we're past our non-solicit with any of our banks. But the point is, staying in front of your clients, once you build that sphere, you and I are right around the same age, 40-something years old. We all have got 3,000 people in our phone that you come across. Taking an effort to not necessarily go out where you're hunting, but you're farming, right? You're making sure that you're watering, you're treating it, you're really creating meaningful relationships is huge. And I'm a big believer in it. I think putting ourselves in spheres just like you do. I've seen a lot of the things, this is a short episode based on, how you're staying in front of your contacts. But I also see what you're doing on social media. You're always trying to get better at your craft, which people are going to look up to you and say, wow, Atrion, besides the fact that I think he's knowledgeable because we're getting the info from Barry, or we're getting it from Ishbia, or we're getting, we're regurgitating a lot of information, but to be able to really take and dive in and learn that is something that I've noticed that you've done, that I really look up to you for how you invest in yourself. Not only, social media, sure, it's easy. It's easy if you just do it, but to do it with, class like you are. There's a couple of guys, you, Brian Decker, some people that I really look up to on how they're doing their social media, that's driving that Rolodex of business and building it to where 10 years from now, that list of 3,000 is 6,000, it's going to continue to grow. It's like pushing a snowball downhill. So
I think I give you one nugget here that I think we all kind of miss too. If you came from retail and you're not calling your past banker friends to ask about their deals that aren't getting through, you are missing. Like, I would say in the last 3 months, over a dozen of my loans have been pickoffs from retail bankers that couldn't get a deal done.
Yeah, yeah, either because of overlays or just lack of knowledge on structure. Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, it really comes down to connections, right? Spheres that you're putting yourself into and staying in front of it. But Atrion, I really appreciate you. You're a stand-up guy.
Yeah.
I like being in the same market as you. We always talk about, there isn't competition in my eyes between brokers. You call me, I call you and help. You've been a great member of our community. I really appreciate you. I thank everybody here for joining us today on another episode of AIME's Grow and Get It. We're here every Monday at 12 Eastern. You can check us out on our AIME National, on our YouTube page, or we'll be posting this every Monday at noon on our Brokers Are Better. So hope everyone has a great week. Atrion, thank you again, my friend. Keep crushing it, and anything that we can ever do to help you, keep reaching out, and hopefully we will see you at Fuse, my friend.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, Tom.
Take care.